Viewers, good afternoon. This is the special Bids and Awards Committee of the Negros Occidental Sub-DEO. We are undertaking a pre-bid conference for 5 infra projects and 1 goods and services. Before we proceed to the pre-bid conference, may I request Engineer Gilu Atibo for a short prayer.
Let's now put ourselves in the holy presence of God and share the silent moment with Him. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Amen. Lord, thank you for this day that you have given us, Lord God. Lord, as we are about to start our pre-bid, Lord God, please guide us and enlighten us, Lord God, that this activity may be successful, Lord. And this we ask in Jesus Christ. Our Lord, Amen.
Amen.
Father, and the Spirit.
Thank you, Ma'am Gilu. So for the preliminaries, may I ask the Secretariat, Head of the Secretariat, Engineer Mark Robin Ido, to hold the role to determine the quorum of the committee. There is a quorum, and acknowledge everyone present in this committee, including the observers and the bidders or their representatives.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, everyone. In order to determine if the back is in quorum, we shall have a roll call. Please say present or here once your name is called. ARDO Alvi Fruto, back chairperson. Ade Pedrito R. Bautista, back vice chairperson.
Present.
Engineer Marilu G. Zamora, back regular member. Engineer Harold Miguel L. Puy, back provisional member.
Present.
Engineer Benji C. Moraca, back provisional member.
Present.
Engineer Raul A. De La Torre, Implementing Office Representative.
Present.
Engineer Mark Rubin C. Pido, Head Back Secretariat, yours truly. Engineer Jesus Intia Jr., Head Back TWG. And Engineer General Rose G. Atienza, Member Back TWG. And we have also from the representative of bidder, we have Ms. Ira Nerio of Jim Plaji Office Supplies and Equipment. It is also informed that observers were duly notified and invited, but none attended this pre-bid conference. That would be also.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, you have quorum.
Opo. Paano yung nakaupo yung sa baba?
So we have a quorum for this afternoon, sir.
Since we have a quorum, I now call to order the pre-bid conference. So, the pre-bid conference is being live streamed to YouTube page of DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-DEO, special back. Kindly please turn your cellular phone in silent mode. May I now ask the head of the secretariat to present the details of the 5 infrastructure projects and the 1 goods and services.
So good afternoon, everyone. For this afternoon, we have 5 infrastructure projects. Contract ID number 23GQ0064. Construction of 1-story, 2 classroom Bagong Silang Elementary School, Salvador, Benedicto, Negros Occidental. Contract ID number 23GQ0065. Construction of 1-story 2CL, Iliranan IS, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. 23GQ0066. Construction of 1-story 2CL, Lina de la Viña, Valmayor, ES, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. 23GQ0067. Construction of 1-story 2CL, Sofronio, Carmona Memorial National High School, Don Salvador, Benedicto, Negros Occidental. And 23GQ0068, construction of 1-story 4CL, San Isidro ES, Calatrava, Negros Occidental.
Contract data. Contract ID number 23GQ0064 with contract name of construction of 1-story 2CL Bagong Silang Elementary School, Salvador, Benedicto, Negros Occidental. Location, Don Salvador, Benedicto, Negros Occidental. Implementing Office, DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-DEO. Funding source CY 2023 Basic Educational Facilities Fund, Batch 1. Approved budget for the contract, 4,746,985 pesos and 19 centavos. Scope of works, complete construction of one-story, two-classroom school building, 7 meters by 18 meters plus corridor, which includes demolition of existing structure, earthworks, concreting works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, snow protection works, provision of window grills at front and rear windows, fire alarm system and fire extinguisher, as indicated in the plans and specifications or as directed by the engineer. Contract duration 140 calendar days. For the major similar category of works, DICWO PLC buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. DICWPH CCP buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. DICWPLCCP buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete, cast-in-place piles. DICWPHCDP buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete driven piles. DICWPLCDP buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete driven piles. DICWOPHC buildings, construction without piles, high-rise concrete. DIL buildings, industrial plant, low-rise. DIH buildings, industrial plant, high-rise. DIM buildings, industrial plant, medium-rise. For the qualifier, for the category of works, DICWO PLC buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. Example qualifier none. For the list of key personnel, for the position of project manager, project engineer, project inspector, materials engineer 1, safety officer, foreman, the minimum of number of personnel is 1. Minimum years of total experience and minimum years of experience in similar works 5 years. For the list of key equipments units, 1 bagger mixer, number of units 2, cargo service truck, number of units 2, water truck or pump, number of units 1, generator set, number of units 2, welding machine electric driven, DC output, number of units 1, concrete vibrator flexible shaft, number of units 2, bar cutter, number of units 1, bar bender, number of units 1, cutting outfit, number of units 1, plate compactor, number of units 2.
For contract ID 23GQ0065, construction of one-story, two-classroom Iliranan IS, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Location, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Implementing Office, DPWH Negros Occidental sa DEO. Funding source, CY 2023 Basic Educational Facilities Fund, BEFF, Batch 1. For the ABC, 4,747,002 pesos, 65 centavos. For the scope of works, complete construction of one-story, two-classroom school building, 7 meters by 18 meters, plus corridor, which includes earthworks, concreting works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, provision of window grills at front and rear windows, fire alarm system, and fire extinguisher as indicated in the plans and specification or as directed by the engineer. Contract duration, 140 calendar days. For the major or similar category of works, BICWO PLC buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works, BICWPHCCP buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. BICWPLCCP buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. BICWPHCDP buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete with frame, driven piles. BICWPLCDP buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, driven piles. PICWOPHC buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame. BIL buildings, industrial plant, low-rise. BIH buildings, industrial plant, high-rise. BIM buildings, industrial plant, medium-rise. For the qualifier, major category of works is BICWOPLC buildings, construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. Example of qualifier 9. For the list of key personnel, for the project manager, project engineer, project inspector, materials engineer 1, safety officer, and foreman, the number of personnel is 1. Minimum years of experience, of total work experience is 5 years. And for the minimum years of experience in similar works is also 5 years. List of key equipment units. 1 bagger mixer, 2 units. Cargo service truck, 2 units. Water truck or pump, 1 unit. Generator set, 2 units. Building machine, 1 unit. Concrete vibrator, 2 units. Bar cutter, 1 unit. Bar bender, 1 unit. Cutting outfit, 1 unit. Freight compactor, 2 units.
Contract ID number 23GQ0066 with contract name of construction of 1-story 2CN Lina, dela, Viña, Valmayor, ES, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Location, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Implementing Office, DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-DEO. Funding source, CY 2023 Basic Educational Facilities Fund, Batch 1. Approved budget for the contract, 4,747,023 pesos and 14 centavos. Scope of works, complete construction of 1-story, 2 classroom school building, 7 meters by 18 meters plus corridor, which includes demolition of existing structure, earthworks, concreting works, finishing, and other civil works. Electrical works, provision of window grills at front and rear windows, fire alarm system, and fire extinguisher as indicated in the plans and specification or as directed by the engineer. Contract duration, 140 calendar days. For the major or similar category of works, BICWOPLC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. BICWPHCCP, buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. BICWPLCCP, buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. BICWPHCDP, buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete-driven piles. BICWPLCDP, buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame-driven piles. BICWOPHC, buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame. BIL, buildings, industrial plant, low-rise. BIH, buildings, industrial plant, high-rise. BIM, buildings, industrial plant, medium-rise. For the qualifier, major category of works, BICWOPLC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. Example of qualifier, none. For the list of key personnel, for the position of project manager, project engineer, project inspector, materials engineer 1, safety officer, foreman, the minimum number of personnel is 1. And the minimum years of total work experience and the minimum years of experience in similar works is 5 years. For the list of key equipment units, 1 bagger mixer, 2 units, cargo or service truck, 2 units, water truck or pump, 1 unit, generator set, 2 units, welding machine, 1 unit, concrete vibrator, 2 units, bar cutter, 1 unit, bar bender, 1 unit, cutting outfit, 1 unit, plate compactor, 2 units.
Contract ID 23GQ0067, construction of 1-story 2 classrooms, Sofronio, Carmona Memorial National High School, Salvador, Benedicto. Location, Don Salvador, Benedicto, Negros Occidental. Implementing Office, DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-DEO. Funding source, CY 2023 BEFF Batch 1. EBC, 4,746,976 pesos and 95 centavos. For the scope of works, complete construction of one-story, two-classroom school building, 7 by 18 meters, plus corridor, which includes earthworks, concreting works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, snow protection works, provision of window grills at front and rear windows, fire alarm system, and fire extinguisher as indicated in the plans and specifications, or as directed by the engineer. Contract duration, 140 calendar days. For the major or similar category of works, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, driven piles. And buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame. Also buildings, industrial plant, low-rise. Buildings, industrial plant, high-rise. Buildings, industrial plant, medium-rise. For the qualifier, the major category of works is BICWO PLC, or the buildings construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the list of key personnel, project manager, project engineer, project inspector, materials engineer 1, safety officer, and foreman, the number of personnel is 1, the minimum years of total experience is 5 years, and the minimum years of experience in similar works is also 5 years. List of key equipment units. 1 Bagong mixer, 2 units, cargo service truck, 2 units, water truck or pump, 1 unit, generator set, 2 units, building machine, 1 unit, complete vibrator, 2 units, bar cutter, 1 unit, bar bender, 1 unit, cutting outfit, 1 unit, and quick compactor, 2 units.
Contract ID number 23GQ0068 with contract name of construction of one-story 4CL San Isidro ES Calatrava Negros Occidental. Location Calatrava Negros Occidental. Implementing Office DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-DEO. Funding source CY 2023 Depth and Basic Educational Facilities Fund Batch 1. Approved budget for the contract 8,612,424 pesos and 32 centavos. Scope of works: complete construction of one-story 4-classroom school building, 7 meters by 36 meter plus corridor, which includes earthworks, concreting works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, provision of window grills at front and rear windows, fire alarm system and fire extinguisher as indicated in the plans and specifications or as directed by the engineer. Contract duration 180 calendar days. For a major or similar category of works, BICWO PLC, buildings construction without piles, low-rise concrete, 1 to 5 stories. BICWP HCCP, buildings construction with piles, high-rise concrete, cast-in-place piles. BICWP LCCP, buildings construction with piles, low-rise concrete, cast-in-place piles. BICWP HCDP, buildings construction with piles, high-rise concrete driven piles. BICWP LCDP, buildings construction with piles, low-rise concrete driven piles. BICWOP HC, buildings construction with BIL, buildings industrial plant low-rise. BIH, buildings industrial plant high-rise. BIM, buildings industrial plant medium-rise. For the qualifier, BICWO PLC, buildings construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame 1 to 5 story. Qualifier now. The list of key personnel for the position of project manager, project engineer, project inspector, materials engineer 1, safety officer, foreman. The number of personnel is 1. For the minimum years of total experience and minimum years of experience in similar works is 5 years. For the list of key equipment units, 1 bagger mixer, 2 units, cargo or service truck, 2 units, water truck or pump, 1 unit, generator set, 2 units, welding machine, 1 unit, concrete vibrator, 2 units. bar cutter 1 unit, bar bender 1 unit, cutting outfit 1 unit, plate compactor 2 units.
We have Class A documents, legal documents, valid PhilJobs registration certificate, platinum membership as per GPPB Resolution Number 15, Series of 2021. Technical documents, we have statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules with Certificate Contractors Accreditation Board or PCAB license or special PCAB license in case of joint ventures and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. Original copy of bid security in the prescribed form, amount, and validity period, or original copy of notarized bill securing declaration and project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' key personnel, example, project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen, to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. List of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, or under purchase agreements supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. List of contractors' minimum material testing equipment as per DEO 11 Series of 2017. Original duly signed omnibus sworn statement and, if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. For the financial documents, the prospective bidder's audited financial statement showing, among others, the prospective bidder's total and current assets and liabilities, stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. The prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC. For Class B documents or for joint venture, valid joint venture agreement, and if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IRR in case of the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the instance that the bid is successful. Please take note that for manual submission of bids, the technical documents is preferably book-bounded. The contents of technical documents are preferably numbered, paginated consecutively in the right-hand top margin and signed below page number by a duly authorized representative for both manual and electronic submission of bids. Any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient document in the required checklist is a ground for outright rejection or non-complying of the bid. For the submission and receipt of bids, so here are the contents of a second envelope or financial proposal. Original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities. Duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with a bid, and cash flow by quarter. Please take note that for manual submission of bids, the financial documents is preferably book-bounded. The contents of financial documents are preferably numbered, paginated consecutively at the right top margin, and signed below page number by duly authorized representative for both manual and electronic submission of the bids. Any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient documents in the required checklist is a ground for outright rejection or non-complying of the bid. So here are the common reasons for rejection of bids, ineligibility, and post-disqualification of bidders. Failure to submit the original copy of the surety bond certified by the Insurance Commission indicating the name of project, the procuring entity, and name of contractor. Shorter bid validity and bid security validity period. Overlapping of pledged equipment and committed key technical personnel. Failure to indicate the validity of bid in the bid form, and late submission of bid. We also have failure to submit supporting documents, example, certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project if equipment pledged is to be leased or purchased. Negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project, or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contracts. Unsatisfactory CPES rating. Here are the common errors in the submission of bids. Single proprietor, signatory should be the owner or proprietor only. For corporation or cooperative, the Board of Secretaries certificate and board resolution. For joint venture resolution or agreement. For partnership, as indicated in the Articles of Partnership. For the bid security, the bid validity period is 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. For the bid security validity period, it's 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. So the bidder shall submit a bid securing declaration or any form of bid security enumerated below. So we have cash or cashier's or manager's check issued by a universal or commercial bank. Bank draft guarantee or irrevocable LC issued by a universal or commercial bank. So the amount of bid security for the mentioned items, not less than percentage of the ABC, is 2%. For surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security is 5%. For the bid evaluation, the financial component of the bids of each past bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The BAC shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the ABC. So here are the following factors to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. So for completeness, no price in required item, non-responsive, indicating a 0 or a dash free to the government. All prices are deemed to include all taxes. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including where applicable BOQ, shall be considered non-responsive. For arithmetical corrections, bid prices and figures versus words prevail. For total price per item versus unit price per item, unit price prevails. Total price versus actual sum of component items, actual sum prevails. Unit cost and detailed estimate versus unit cost and BOQ, BOQ prevails. If above ABC, it is disqualified. For post-qualification, verification, validation, and ascertainment of statements made and documents submitted, we have the legal requirements, licenses, certificates, permits, agreements, and exclusion in any blacklist. For technical requirements, we have key personal minimum work experience requirements should be satisfied, availability and commitment of major construction equipment, failure of the prospective bidder to state the complete technical description of the pledged equipment and the specific location, whether owned, leased, or under purchase agreement, shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification for award of contract and forfeiture of its bid security as per DEO number 58, series of 2012. For technical requirements, performance and ongoing government and private contracts, negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project, or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works and complete ongoing contracts in the prescribed date after receipt of the notice of defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance in the prescribed date after receipt of the notice of defects and failures. Substandard quality of works or unsatisfactory performance per contract per conditions at the term of inspection. DEO number 127, series of 2018, strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of the post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with DPWH. Authenticity and correctness of bid security, financial requirements, bid price proposal, and NFCC. So here are the notes on the personal and equipment requirements of the project as per DEO number 9, series of 2012, or technical requirements for civil works projects for public bidding. If a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the same time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that one personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded to the contract, and 2, he or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. Also, the bidder may propose a key technical personnel who is not its employee, provided that the said personnel is required to submit a certification that he or she will work for the bidder if it is awarded in a contract under bidding. These certifications shall be included in the first envelope of the sealed bid. Also, to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment where they can be inspected, and if any equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified. So for the contract award, the contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated and responsive bid, as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. Contract award should be made within the bid validity period. Subcontracting is not allowed.
And for the schedules, we have the deadline for submission of clarification is on August 8, 2023, and deadline for submission of bids is on August 15, 2023. Number of copies of bid proposal, 1 original copy, technical and financial envelope of each bid. Place of submission of bids, conference room, DPWH Negros Occidental, Sub-DEO, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. And for the pre-bid conference for goods and services, we have contract ID number 23GGQ008. Contract name, procurement of desktop computers, laptops, and projector for use of various sections in DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-District Engineering Office, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Location, DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-DEO, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental. Implementing Office, DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-DEO. Funding source, FY 2023, RA 11936, regular 2023 current. Approved budget for the contract amounting to 2,030,000 pesos. Brief description of goods to be procured. Procurement of desktop computers, laptops, and projector for use of various sections in the DPWH Negros Occidental Sub-District Engineering Office. Contract duration, 30 calendar days.
For the schedule of requirements, desktop computer quantity 13 sets, laptop 5 units, projector 1 unit. For the schedules, deadline for submission of clarification August 8, 2023. Deadline for submission of bids August 15, 2023. Number of copies of bid proposal, 1 original copy, technical and financial envelope of its bid. Place of submission of bids, conference room, DPWH Negros Occidental, Sub-DEO, San Carlos City, Negros Occidental.
For the eligibility requirements for Class A documents, we have legal documents, registration certificate from SEC, GDI for sole proprietorship, or CDA for cooperatives. Mayor's permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, and tax clearance certificate is finally reviewed and approved by the BIR. For technical documents, we have records of single largest completed contracts similar to the contract to be bid, adjusted to current price using Philippine Statistics Authority current price index with a contract amount equivalent to at least 50% of the ABC. For the financial documents, we have audited financial statements stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Computation of NFCC of at least equal to ABC, computed using the prescribed formula. NFCC is equal to current assets minus current liabilities multiplied to the fixed value of 15 minus value of unfinished projects, including awarded projects not yet started, coinciding with a contract to be bid. For the submission and receipt of bids, the contents of the first envelope or technical proposals are DTI Business Name Registration of SEC Registration Certificate or CDA for cooperatives, valid and current mayor's permit or municipal license, statement of ongoing and similar completed government and private contracts 50%, audited financial statements stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the immediately preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission, showing, among others, the total assets and liabilities, income tax return of the preceding year filed and paid through the BIR electronic filing and payment system, computing of net financial contracting capacity, tax clearance for Executive Order Number 398, Series of 2005, as finally reviewed and approved by the BIR, PhilJEPs, bid securing declaration, bid security, technical specifications, production delivery schedule, warranty certificate, brochures of offered equipment, omnibus sworn statement, and secretary's certificate and board resolution. Please take note that for manual submission of bids, the technical documents is preferably book-bounded. The contents of technical documents are preferably numbered, paginated consecutively in the right-hand top margin and signed below page number by a duly authorized representative for both manual and electronic submission of bids. Any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient document in the required checklist is a ground for outright rejection or non-complying of the bid. So for the contents of the second envelope or the financial proposal, we have duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities breakdown, recurring and maintenance costs if applicable. Please take note that for manual submission of bids, the financial documents is preferably book-bounded. The contents of financial documents are preferably numbered, paginated consecutively at the right top margin and signed below page number by duly authorized representative for both manual and electronic submission of the bids. Any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient documents in the required checklist is a ground for outright rejection or non-complying of the bid. We now come to bid security, so the bid validity period is 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. The bid security validity period is 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. So the bidder shall submit a bid securing declaration or any form of bid security enumerated below. So we have cash or cashier's or manager's check issued by a universal or commercial bank, bank draft guarantee or revocable LC issued by a universal or commercial bank. So the amount of bid security, not less than percentage of the ABC of the two mentioned items, is 2%. Surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security. The amount of bid security is 5%. So for the bid evaluation, the financial components of the bids of each past bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The BAC shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the ABC. So the following are the factors to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. Completeness, no price in required item, non-responsive, indicating a 0 or a dash, free to the government. All prices are deemed to include all taxes. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including where applicable BOQ, shall be considered non-responsive. For the arithmetical corrections, bid prices and figures versus words, words prevail. Total price per item versus unit price per item, unit price prevails. Total price versus actual sum of component items, actual sum prevails. Unit cost in detailed estimate versus unit cost in BOQ, BOQ prevails. If above ABC, it is disqualified.
Is there any clarification? May I hear a motion for the adjournment of this conference?
I hereby recommend for adjournment. There's no questions or verification.
With the motion to adjourn this meeting and duly seconded, I now call out the conference adjourned at 2:41 p.m. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, sir.